Hey, good afternoon and good morning to you. Welcome back to this EA Awareness webinar series. As you've seen in the previous one, we are now already on the third episode. The first one, we were sharing with you the benefits of an enterprise agreement for you as a customer. In the second webinar, we were talking about the importance of using success tracks to get access to the innovation and your purchase of your enterprise agreement and how to get to the desired outcomes the quickest way possible. But in the introduction, we also shared with you that benefits for you as a customer for an enterprise agreement are it's easy to buy, it's easy to manage, and it's easy to consume. Now, how does this look like? How does this easy to manage and how the easy to consume, how does this look like? That's exactly what we're going to cover today in the webinar. And I'm happy to not do this on my own. I'm doing this with subject matter experts on each step of the life cycle journey for an enterprise agreement. So you've probably seen the racetrack before. The racetrack is how our customers are going through the life cycle of the purchase that they did with Cisco. And today we're going to look at enterprise agreements on the racetrack and what is happening on each step. And for each step, we're talking to a subject matter expert that will share with us what's happening on those steps, what are the criteria, and when do they hand over to the next team. And the first step that we're going to look after is what happens after the customer bought an enterprise agreement. And for that, we are meeting Piotr from the Portfolio Activation Specialist team. Piotr, welcome.
Hello, Steven. Thank you. My name is Piotr Piekielniak from Portfolio Activation Specialist team, which is part of Customer Experience Organization. And I would like to tell you something about what's happening when the order for enterprise agreement contract is placed and it's booked. So this is the automation process when the case is opened in our systems. So then we can assign these cases to ourselves, and in EMEA, we are divided on theaters. After we assign the case, we are trying to reach out to all the stakeholders, both from Cisco side as account and the sales team, as well as from the partner side. And we are trying to gather all the information if everything what has been booked is also on the place in EA Workspace. After that, we are organizing the meeting between Cisco and the partner side, so then we can agree on everything what we are going to cover during onboarding with customer, and if the customer is already familiar with smart account and smart licensing. After
Okay,
that,
so
yes?
I want to understand here. So we have this stakeholder meeting. It's with the Cisco account team and with the partner.
Yes.
What is the kind of things that you're discussing there? Is that what is it that the customer want to achieve, or what's going on in that conversation?
Yes, exactly, Stephen. We are trying to gather as much information as we can from the beginning, like why the customer decided to sign an EA contract, what are their expectations, and how the onboarding session should look like.
All right. And then what's the next step?
Yeah, so then we agree on who is going to reach out to the customer to schedule the onboarding session, and then we are going to meet with the customer during such activation call.
All right. So the first kickoff meeting is with the stakeholders, with partner and Cisco, but the customer is not in. And the next meeting is when we are reaching out to the customer.
That's true.
Tell me, who does that? Who does the reach out to the customer?
Yeah, I'm going to hand over to Anna because she will cover the steps.
Oh, okay. So we're getting already on the next step in the life cycle journey.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you, Piotr, and welcome to the webinar, Anna. So Piotr was sharing with us the stakeholder meeting with Cisco Internal, with the partner, talking about what is that the customer want to achieve. But I'm missing a very important stakeholder, and that is the customer. And Anna, you are actually talking to the customers in that priority meeting, right? Share with us how does that onboarding meeting look like?
Yeah, that's right, Steven. Thank you so much. First of all, that's really a great pleasure to be here with you today. I'm Anna Moss. I'm working together with Piotr on the Portfolio Activation Specialist team. I'm supporting the region Germany in this case. And what do I do on daily basis? So I onboard our customers after they have just purchased an enterprise agreement, right? So I organize a 60-minute call, around 60 minutes, in order to show our customers how they can achieve the maximum of their enterprise agreement investment, right? So one of the topics, most important topics we cover during the onboarding session is, first of all, a smart account administration, right? For the customer, it's really crucial to know who is going to have access to what. And then we go as well to the enterprise agreement workspace. So we definitely log in to the customer smart account. So we go under Cisco Software Central. There we can find all of the important portals. And the most important portal for the customer is definitely the enterprise agreement workspace. So I show the customer how they can navigate the portal, how they can generate, activate the licenses, how they can manage those ones, right? So from there, the customer can generate the licenses either as smart, and then they will be deposited under Smart Software Manager portal. The customer can as well generate the traditional licenses, and then those ones will be generated under Licensing Registration portal. Or if the customer decided to purchase cloud-based products, we generate the licenses into cloud together with the customer. So we are provisioning those licenses, and then from particular dashboards, the customer can get like understanding of what have been thus far provisioned into the cloud.
All right.
And another really topic as well, maybe.
Yeah. So really, this easy to manage and easy to consume, that really starts with you. Do I understand well?
We are actually, so to say, the first point of contact for the customer. So this is as well, that's why crucial for the customer to get in touch with us, to accept our invite for the kickoff meeting, because we are the ones taking care of having the right setup for the whole enterprise agreement lifecycle. So we are the one aiming for a successful enterprise agreement journey. And if there are any obstacles, because we as well lay the ground for a technical adoption. And as we see, for example, that from the licensing perspective, everything is working. We've generated the licenses, the customer is ready, right? But as we see that, for example, from the deployment, from the hardware perspective, there are issues. We are the ones then redirecting, connecting the dots, and involving our internal resources, in this case, customer success managers.
All right. So with that, we are actually moving to the next step in the journey, in the life cycle, because you're mentioning obstacles and you're mentioning customer success, and that's where we are going now in the next cycle, right?
Exactly.
Good. So with that, we are moving on the journey and going to meet Lisa.
Thank you.
Lisa, please introduce yourself, your team. What do you guys do?
So us, the customer success team, work on adoption, and that is full utilization of the solution that the customer has purchased. So this means that we are here to make sure that customers are getting the most value out of their investments. Here, it's important not to confuse adoption for usage. Usage would be how frequently or for what purpose a software is used. Adoption, on the other hand, is how fully utilized the software is. So this is what we are here to help with. Typical topics that we support with are what different kinds of licenses and levels customers are entitled to and what they can do with them. We show how the selected use cases can be supportive of the customer journey and as well support their business objectives and outcomes. We also provide.
So I want to make sure that I fully understand. So we started at the beginning with Piotr. He shared with us that the internal stakeholder meeting and they're defining what is it that the customer want to achieve. Then the next step, we're reaching out to the customer and have the first interactions with the customer to get them familiar with the EA workspace and understand what is it that they purchased. And then it goes into your hands and your team, and then you're really taking these use cases and the outcomes, and you're helping the customer to actually adopt and get into that journey onto the outcome that they had in mind. Correct?
Correct, exactly. So that's really what we do. We provide consulting and guidance on diverse topics. These topics can be important to the customer. They can be general topics such as upgrades, provide health checks on the install base, etc. And there are 3 formats in which we deliver this support. The first one is what we call a discovery session. This is a session in which we assess the customer environment, their technical needs and questions, and we recommend next steps. We have accelerators, which would be the next step after a discovery session. This is a deep dive session intended to achieve precise outcomes that we have agreed on. It's also often delivered over several sessions, so this can address very specific questions and challenges, if any. And lastly, webinars. So these are one-to-many webinars targeting common and key adoption challenges with a presentation, often a demo and a Q&A.
Nice. So one-to-many, and then you take industry best practices, or what is the kind of things that you deliver in there?
Yeah, exactly. So these are, as we said, sort of a concentration of the common questions, requests, challenges that we hear from customers in our daily business, and we try to make this accessible to a broader public in order to make sure that they don't need to spend too much time looking for the answers themselves.
Wow. All right. So I would say you have a crucial role in the success of the customer. I think that's the reason why that is the title of your role, the Customer Success Manager. You also mentioned that there's a difference between the consumption and the adoption of whatever the customer purchased, right? But that's not what your team manages. Isn't that where we go into the next level when we go on the journey into expand?
Exactly. That would be the case, yes.
Great. So with that, we are moving to Gustavo. So Lisa shared with us the difference between adoption and consumption, and we're already in the next stage of the racetrack, or the lifecycle journey, and I'm now hosting Gustavo, who is part of the buying programs operations team. And Gustavo, what do we mean with the definition of consumption? What does it mean, and what does it look like?
Hey, Steven. That's a great question. So for Cisco, within the Enterprise Agreement, what we consider consumption are any entitlements that our customers either generate directly in their EA workspace platform, any entitlements that they request Cisco to provision on their behalf, and any entitlements that they purchase through our partners, along, for instance, with hardware devices, right? So these three different avenues of generation, provisioning, and purchase is what we will consider as consumed entitlements in our customer's enterprise agreement.
All right. So that also tells me that it is important for our customers to actively use the Enterprise Agreement Workspace or EA Workspace and keep an eye on their consumption, keep an eye on are you using what you've purchased, and in the case if you are over consuming, which is a benefit of an enterprise agreement, right? It's one of the reasons why our customers are using enterprise agreements. But if they are, they would go into the process of a true forward, correct?
That's absolutely correct, yes. So I think it's very important that our customers are aware of what they are consuming and what they are purchasing or provisioning or generating within their EA. And that should be a recurring practice throughout the year. And to your point, when they do overconsume the initial entitlements they purchased at the beginning of their enterprise agreement contract, then my team will engage initially with our partners, sharing the True Forward notifications and the True Forward reports, or overconsumption reports, if you will. And we will start the entire True Forward process with our partners and customers as soon as they do overconsume in their enterprise agreement.
So this is communicated from your team to the partner first, and then the partner to communicate with the customer, right?
Absolutely correct. So going into the process itself, even though consumption monitoring, like we said, should be a common practice and a continuous practice throughout the year, when we reach what we call T-minus 60, so 60 days prior to the enterprise agreement anniversary date, my team will create a True Forward consumption report and share that report with all the relevant data points to our partners. And then the same process will repeat itself 30 days prior to the anniversary date. An updated True Forward consumption report will be shared with the partners. And during that 60-day window prior to anniversary, up until the anniversary date, we have ongoing conversations with our partners and customers, validating the data or explaining the data that we share on our end. And the partners and customers have an opportunity to dispute the data we're sharing during that 60-day window prior to the anniversary date, and presenting their own views of what they consider they are consuming in their contract, right? So the goal is for us during that 60-day window to reconcile data and to get an approval from customers and partners in what we are sharing is correct and is what we are going to charge at the anniversary date.
But
right?
solid call to action
Yes,
for the customer is keep an eye. Keep an eye, make using the EA Workspace part of your daily or at least monthly processes, right?
Absolutely. Either the customers directly, or if they outsource that activity and the management of their EAs to our partners, then for sure having the partners do that exercise. Then after we reach the anniversary date, and assuming we've already agreed on the consumption with the customer, my team will create and book the True Forward web orders. Those web orders, once booked, will be shared with the partners, and they will remain booked pending fulfillment for an additional 60 days. So again, during this additional 60-day window, partners and customers have a new opportunity to validate the order, to validate the value that we are charging them, and to raise any disputes if necessary. Once this 60-day window period is passed, if there has been no disputes during that time frame, the order will be fulfilled, and our partners will then be invoiced according to the billing cadence and the billing model that they have selected along with the customers in their enterprise agreement contract. So ultimately, I would just say, despite the efforts of our team in this process happening 60 days prior to anniversary all the way up until 60 days after, to reinforce your message, this should be a continued practice throughout the year, so there are no surprises for our customers.
But at the same time, making sure that, dear customer, thank you for your investment in Cisco software and Cisco innovations, but let's make sure you're actually using it, right? So it's in their benefit as well. Great. All right, thank you very much, Gustavo. That was very, very helpful. We're almost already at the end of the racetrack, and we're going to the next level. We're going into renewals, and for the renewals, we're going to talk to Patricia. Patricia, welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Patricia Sainz. I'm part of the renewals team in North. And yes, thank you, Gustavo, for the. I just want to add about the renewals and just mention all the key next steps that we have. So our renewal process usually starts 6 to 9 months before. In that process, what we do is we start looking at collecting all the data from the customer. We need to realize that usually an EA renewal that has been taking place 3 or 5 years ago has a lot of changes in the data and in the install base. And we take the opportunity to really look at all the changes in that install base that has taken place. Also, based on that, we start really looking at all the licenses, we look at the adoption, and we look at the consumption. And after that, those are the key steps that we will start looking into the meeting with the customer that will take place together with the partner.
So what are the key steps?
So the first step that we will take is, next that we have all that collected data, we will organize a meeting with the partner, the customer, and in that meeting we will love to see and to discuss this with the technical team, together with the key people building the offer for that renewal. And what is very important that we realize is all the changes that has happened in the years prior the EA to be renewed. It needs to be discussed on the details with the install base. Those are really the key steps that we see in the renewal.
Because we would assume, right, an enterprise agreement is typically 3 years to 5 years, and yes, it can go up to 7 years. But we would assume that a customer has grown, they might have opened new branches, they have new employees, or they might have implemented a new way of working, or have adopted new technologies. And all of those changes need to be incorporated into your
yeah, and
renewal,
actually,
right?
you will be surprised, Steven, to see the amount of changes that we see. In most of the scenarios, the customer and the partner, they have been already involved, checking the adoption and reviewing all the elements of the consumption. But based on the changes they have, we see a big opportunity to explore what else can be done in that portfolio. Years ago, if we look at the EA portfolio, it was just covering one architecture. Right now, we are covering the program can be expanded to other architectures, which will be exploring and expanding, right, that investment that the customer is taking.
Yes. Because now that we have EA 3.0 as our main enterprise agreement platform, it's multi-architecture. You can have security in there, collaboration, data center. You can have outcomes like full stack observability, application experience, but of course also access to the SecureX cloud.
You name it.
All these technologies were previously not available, and now they are. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you also mentioned that there might be some challenges in the renewals. What are the kind of challenges that you face?
The current challenges we see, and the biggest one that is usually the data. But the challenge is also an opportunity because, as you said, that change that we have seen with the program, most of the customers are not aware, and the possibilities to combine all the features and all the new suites is actually opening a new world, right, into the EA. And that's something which I think that is the biggest value that we see from the renewal team, to bring in that you visualize in a very detailed way where we can open that discussion, right? But not only with the people that they really bought the offer before, but also with the technical teams that they have been using features across different different areas in the customer. So.
So, for instance, the customer was an EA 2.0 customer, and that one is expiring, but they were using other technologies, maybe in another EA or in another a la carte offer, and they didn't know that you can combine that now into one. That is
And
that's one of the
absolutely,
things,
and
right?
that awareness actually is not very well known. They don't realize sometimes of that richness of even the licenses that they have open. Remember that years ago,
Yeah.
probably the possibilities they had was only one suite, and if they look now,
Yeah.
and that's actually what it helps to visualize this, the amount of licenses, the complexity they have in the operations, the opportunity to fix that and also make that in a more financial offer, which is a lot more attractive. That's one of the biggest opportunities that we see. So the challenge becomes an opportunity.
Yeah. So if you buy more, you get more discount.
And
Basically, that's what
absolutely.
you're
I mean,
saying there.
that's really
Yeah.
one of the elements that we explore. We also, that the program, the new offering with the Enterprise Agreement 3.0 offers that flexibility. And sometimes we also need to keep in mind that not all the suites and not all the features, that's something that they would like to include in the EA, but it offers the flexibility to accommodate those changes. And of course, as you said,
Yeah.
financially, usually it's a lot more attractive. So in the end, that is what we
Yes.
see the biggest win, right, of moving into an EA.
Great. So, what are your key takeaways for the renewals?
So I would
Patricia?
say, looking at the entire process, right, that we have been discussing today, there are three things which they stick into these key takeaways. The first
Okay.
one is timing. I mentioned that usually a renewal starts 9 months, 6 months, depends on the complexity, but I will always say start early. That's always because the time you're going to need the time to explore that install base. Second one,
To really get the best out
to
of it for the customer,
maximize and
we need to
optimize
have
and to
time.
get it the best for the customer.
Yeah.
The second one will be get the right people. We're talking about different technologies, different suites. So you want to have the technical, but also the business owners, and getting them together to observe and also to explore those possibilities. And the last one, I think that will be the most important thing. We're talking about data, and sometimes people think that this is about transaction. We need to look at the strategic angle. An EA, as you said, is 3, 5, or 7 years. So it's a very strategic in nature. And looking at what the customer, where the company is going,
Absolutely.
probably is the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So supporting the customer in their projected future, where they want to grow, where they want to expand, where they want to invest, and where they want to innovate to be smarter, faster, and more successful than their competitor.
Absolutely.
So,
And that's why I think the
100%
partner
with you.
and the renewal team, we will guide them to see those possibilities.
Great. Thank you very much. Patricia, that
Thank
was
you.
very helpful. All right. So with that, you've seen each of the steps of the life cycle and the life cycle journey. And you've seen what are the different elements that are happening on each of the steps, and how the teams are there to support you, the customer, to support the partner, and what kind of information is there, and how do we help and drive the success of our customers together. I learned a lot, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar. We have one more in the series, which is all about professional services. You will see the invite coming for that one soon as well. But now let's open up the floor for some Q&A.